Hello, everyone, and welcome to Colorful Pixels, the show where I talk with the people behind the pixels. I'm your host, Carmen Askerneese, and I'm joined today by Emily. Hello. Hi, Emily.
Hello, happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to me today. And I wanted to start off by asking you, do you remember what your first experience was with video games or what made you fall in love with the medium of video games?
Um, so I gotta say that I don't actually remember a time when I wasn't playing video games. Um, Having grown up with older cousins and an older brother who were already playing games, I basically have been playing video games since I was old enough to hold a controller.
Oh.
Um, so I was playing on, I don't even know what they're called anymore, but it was a disk drive a floppy disk, like a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk drive that you would hook up to your TV and then
Whoa.
play that way.
Whoa, okay, so it
I
wasn't like
know.
a console, it was like something else.
This was something completely different. I guess it must have been a super old PC or something.
Oh, cool.
Um, I do also remember playing on our Atari. Uh, um, I don't know what model of Atari, sorry. It was a very long time ago, and I don't
If
have
you
it
said, I
anymore.
wouldn't have known, so
And then when we were older, we got a Nintendo system and then borrowed a friend's Super Nintendo, and went on from there. I did not own a console until I got my Game Boy Advance, and that was my first console.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Wow, that's so interesting. I love this question because everybody's, like, first exposure to games is so different, and everyone's has been really different that I've talked to so far. So
Mhm.
I'm really curious about this PC that you played on. I was like, I've never heard of that before. Like, do you remember what games you played on it?
Uh, this was, like, super old. I remember we played a game called Cash, like, CA dollar sign H. Um
Oh, it was doing, like, leet speak back then?
Yeah, yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was basically a, super basic graphic platformer? I don't remember, but I remember the name. This little PC thing ran DOS, which is where I learned DOS for the first time,
Yeah.
and where I learned, like, executable commands and things like that. All these things that I learned from my brother and my cousins. Um, so that was fun. I didn't understand what any of it meant at the time. Um, but yeah, it was like a box about okay, I'm trying to remember. This is so my memory this was obviously, like, I don't know, 40 a little around 40 years ago, and so my memory is very hazy, but I remember it being something like a pretty tall, like, maybe like a foot tall or something, a gray box with a black, like, matte, facing, and then you had the switch that you would have to open. You put the floppy in, you close it.
Oh, so you put a floppy disk in it like a game cartridge?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoa! Okay. That's so cool. I'm gonna go look this up later because 'cause I'm so curious what this is. This is so cool. And it was
I
like a platformer that you played on it. Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
we had a bunch of games. They were all on, like, these were 5 1/4 inch floppies, right? So they were, like, tiny. Um, I don't I don't remember any of them aside from Cash. Like, I can't remember if we played Joust on it or if I'm getting mixed up with Atari Joust. Uh, but we did play, like, we had a few games, but Cash is the only title that I remember.
When you played with your family, like, would they actually let you play, or would they give you, like, a controller that's not plugged in and
Oh,
tell
no,
you
no,
you're
no. We had 2 joysticks, so, like, the little, square boxes with the tiny little, joystick on it and a red button,
Mhm.
and that's all it was, right? That's all the inputs we had at the time. And we had 2 of them. So my brother got one and I got one. So we
Oh.
definitely played together.
Whenever I see, like, people use those in movies and they're just, like, wiggling and mashing, I'm like, "Is that actually how you would play games back then?" Or Or is it like when you see people with a controller just like pressing
Yeah,
buttons?
yeah, right. Yeah, that's what people do in movies. I mean, with a joystick, you've only got the movement and the one button, so yes, you would try
Oh,
and spam
cool.
that button as much as you can.
And like, do you remember like of that era when you were playing games? Was there one game or game experience that you had where you were like, I wonder if I can do this, like make these things?
Not when I was little. Um, I think once I started, having to think about a career and all that stuff, it's like, what were the things that I was most interested in? Um, Growing up, I actually wanted to be a vet. I remember this from
Oh,
elementary school,
okay.
like a veterinarian, right? Um, in high school, I actually did a biology lab internship, and I found out that I can't do experiments on animals because I do not like that.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah. Um, did not like, basically. So, but at least I knew then by junior year of high school that like I couldn't handle a lot of the the biology of and all the schooling and experimentation that's required for like uh having a biology related degree or like a medical
Mhm,
related degree in that case. Um, so I was like hard pivot from from biology and animal and zoology related stuff to my other big passion, which was video games. Um, so basically, it was like one or the other. I knew I needed to do one or the other. Um, and video games, I was interested in both, like the programming aspect, but also really interested in the art aspect. Um, I did a lot of art, like just I was never like an official professional illustrator or anything like that. But I did it was like a hobby, like a really strong hobby for me growing up, um, and throughout most of my life, actually. Art, I mean, but yeah. So I one of my good friends in high school went into a bunch of my good friends in high school actually went into CS, computer science, to learn programming. So because they also wanted to be software developers or game developers,
mhm.
um, and I was like, well, we all like I know you all. We can all learn this together. Um, and so they actually helped inspire me and direct me towards choosing CS as my degree. Um, I actually ended up going to school with one of them. The other one went down to SoCal, um, and that was super helpful. Uh, but then throughout the course of college, I found out that I am not good enough at programming or smart enough
Uh-oh.
not
Uh-oh.
to be a good programmer. My brain is not logic based. I can do it, but it takes
Mhm.
you know how sometimes some things come more naturally to you, and then other things like you have to really concentrate or focus on in order to figure out.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah. So for me, I had to really focus and really concentrate in order to figure out like what the answer should or what I think the answer should be for CS and electrical engineering and like all the calculus and physics and stuff that you needed to take for CS classes versus um, everything that was art related or visual or whatever was like super easy to me or came a lot more naturally. I can't say it was super easy. It was still hard, but like came a lot more naturally. And in all honesty, I should have double majored or at least minored in art. For some reason, it didn't occur to me. I don't know. I was 20-year old. I didn't think about that stuff at the time.
Yeah, you don't know what
Um,
you don't know.
yeah, exactly. But I graduated with a CS degree, which I still don't
Hey.
know. Yeah, which I still don't know how I managed because like I wasn't I wasn't good at it. I think I can safely say now that I am not a good programmer. I can
Oh.
uh I can do it, but I don't like doing it, and I don't and it takes me a long time. Or okay, I could do it. It's been 20 years since then. I don't think I could do it anymore.
I definitely know what you mean. I also went to college for CS, and then I was taking classes, and that's when I learned that about vector math, and I was like, "That's a whole new kind of math I didn't even know existed." So,
Yeah,
I don't
right?
think this is for me.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
that's awesome that you finished, though.
yeah, I'm pretty well, by the time I realized I wasn't good at it, I was already in junior year of college, so I was like, "I'm just gonna go through one more year and finish it up, get my degree."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, there was a surprisingly high amount of advanced math required for CS. It's, like, a lot.
So if you're listening and you think that math doesn't have anything to do with game development, you are sadly wrong. It has
Yes,
a lot to do with the
unfortunately,
game
for for those of us who are not super math inclined, yes.
development. So it sounds like you had more of a natural proficiency and affinity for like the artistic side of things. It's like
Mhm.
right brain, left brain stuff. And, but you also have this experience now doing the more technical aspect. And like, have you ever had an opportunity where you got to sort of combine both of those experiences or like that helped you while you were working?
Um, yes, a little bit. I wanna say, let's see, job-wise, I had one job where I was a graphic technical designer, where it was some, like, graphic design and also some minor scripting, and that was fine. And that was basically the mesh of both, my art side, right, and my technical programming side. Um, wasn't my favorite job ever, but it was fine, it was fine. The
That's
people were
fair.
nice.
There you go. That's good.
Turns out I don't like doing that kind of work either. The technical part specifically, I was like the graphic side was easy. Again, sorry, I can't say easy. It was easier for my brain to comprehend. How about that? Um,
Yeah.
uh, but then like further on, um, when I entered QA at a game development studio, I that actually turned out to be pretty helpful because I was in QA. There's a lot of people who are like aspiring game developers.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, myself being one as well. Uh,
Yeah.
because a lot of people use QA as a stepping stone to get in the company and then from there internally move to wherever they want to go, which is
I mean, that's what they
totally a
told us way back in the day too. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's totally viable. I mean, that's what I did. um, but like it was it was really actually helpful to have both an art and a programming background, not necessarily because of the work, because that did help, but more because I knew how to talk to people in both aspects. Uh, because I'm going to generalize a little bit here. Many programmers what introverted, um, like and many I guess I can't. This is a very very strong generalization. Many programmers on the team that I worked on were introverted. How about
Yeah.
and then me being an extrovert, I actually had to learn how to talk to everyone on every team in the way that they preferred. And
Mhm.
it was helpful that I already had that experience with both types of groups uh, to to be able to at least have some um, knowledge behind what I was talking about, and also just like I said, methods of of talking to people.
That's
So
really interesting. So it's kind of like you were a jack of all trades and you were able to not only have the soft skills to speak to everybody and sort of meet them where they are in terms of how they like to communicate, but also an understanding of their craft so that if you needed to talk about something related to their specific craft, you could do that.
yeah, exactly. I always prefaced it with like, I am not a programmer or I am not an artist, but I have a little bit of experience here.
From the things I do know. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It was always like, I defer to your expertise, but this is what I see. You know, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But you know, at least I had a basis to start from.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I feel like A lot of the folks I've talked to have had similar experience. And I remember when I was first learning about game development on my own journey, that was something that my teachers would tell me is like, you want to be able to understand all the different crafts. And I was like, man, how am I supposed to know everything? But it's a lot more
Basically.
like once you start to practice it, it's a lot more of an achievable goal.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it really helped that I just had a relatively diverse group of, like, friends in one phase of my life, and then a very, like, different group of friends later in my life, and the more exposure you get to, like, different styles of people and the different types of communication and different personalities and all that, the better you are at, like, adjusting your communication needs for work. Because
Yeah.
you're gonna be working with a bunch of people
From all over the world. Yeah.
from all over the world.
I think like that was I remember being in like high school and grade school and really loathing group projects because I was
Oh,
like
no!
I was the student who was like, I'm doing everything, I'm just gonna do the assignment. And so I hated group projects because I was doing all the work. But then when I
Yeah,
went to college and like I learned that like the good thing about group projects and like it doesn't really matter what the assignment is, it's about teaching you how to work with people who have different
exactly.
like learning styles, communication styles, all that kind of stuff than you
Yeah.
do. And so it was a painful lesson. But I'm like,
Aw. So in high school and in college, were you also still, like, producing?
you know what? I was the kid in high school. I played a lot of sports and I was in a lot of clubs and stuff. But I also was like trying to min max my high school for college because I was like, if I do all the clubs and I play all the sports and I do all these different things and I can have a optimized college resume or whatever. And
Right,
so I was
right.
kind of looking at it like an
Yes.
RPG character of getting XP everywhere.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You didn't wanna put all your stat points in one stat.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, let me get a little bit of everything. Um,
Nice,
I
nice.
wanted to ask, you mentioned before that when you were growing up, you sort of had different consoles and the Game Boy Advance was your first one. Like, do you remember like when you were playing the Advanced, like was there a game that you played that was like, oh man, this is groundbreaking. I've never played anything like this before.
Oh, groundbreaking.
Yeah. Because I remember
Uh,
the Advance was like, it wasn't my first console, but it was one of the like ones that I played a lot of. And I remember there was a specific game I played on there and I was like, whoa, this is next level.
I this is okay, well, this is not specifically an advanced game, but it did use the Game Boy Advance. I don't know if you remember Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles? It is
I
a
never played it, but I do remember that game.
it was a GameCube game, so you needed a GameCube, but you could also hook up, through special cables, you could hook up 4 Game Boy Advances as your controllers, and then you had your own tiny screen on in your hands in addition to the big screen, um, on the
So
TV,
cool.
and I was like,
So cool.
"What? You could do this?"
Yo, like y'all gamers today don't know how good you have it. If you didn't have a multi-tap or like whatever those cables were called, you were
Yeah.
out of luck. You were not playing
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, the first and only game I played for no, not the only game. The first game that I played on, uh, Game Boy Advance for a very long time was Pokemon Sapphire. Uh,
Which one?
Pokemon Sapphire.
Oh, Pokemon Sapphire. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. You know what? I love Pokemon. And this is gonna I'm gonna get roasted, rightfully so. I stopped playing after like yellow or red.
Oh,
Indigo
no!
League. I stopped playing after Indigo League.
Oh, no!
I know, but it's like really early. Well, I
Yeah,
played the
super
card
early.
game more than I played the virtual
Oh,
games.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you still know the Pokemon, at least the new ones, but you've only played the 1st gen.
I know the original 151, and
Sure.
I know some of the legendary ones, and honestly, that's about it.
Well, we're up to over 1,000 now, so you gotta get cracking.
1,000! Oh my gosh. Me and my friends used to do like, you know how people would have spelling bees? Well, because we were nerds, we would do like a Pokemon. B, I guess, where it's like somebody would name like an element or something. You have to name a Pokemon that relates to it, and then if you
Nice.
can't in a certain amount of time, you're out. And I need to start
Yeah.
doing those like flashcards so I can catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so I mentioned already that I really love like biology and zoology and stuff growing up. So like animals were a big thing for me. That
Oh,
directly translated into me remembering everything about Pokemon.
that's awesome.
You could probably see that tie right there. It's like a video game with a bunch of animals I can collect. Yes.
So then I bet you love Pokemon Snap, where it's like, let me just go and find the animals in their natural habitat.
I do actually enjoy. I will say I didn't play the original Pokemon Snap because I did not own an N64. Um, I personally have owned very few consoles, actually, now that I think about it. Growing up, I didn't get them until much later. Um, but I played new Pokemon Snap fairly recently, and I was like, "Ooh, this is fun! This is fun." I haven't spent a ton of time, but I also play lots of Pokemon games. I think I have played every single mainline uh, generation, at least one version, usually both versions.
That's awesome. Okay, but then which one's your favorite?
Pokemon XY. That is the Kalos region. And I think that was a very quick answer.
Yeah,
I
you
can
were
tell
ready.
you, I can tell you a couple of reasons. It was, I really loved the art style because it was like kind of, it was 3D, but it was still chibi. So
Hmm.
like, it was really cute. The newer ones have like more realistic proportions, and I'm like, but I like the chibi.
Yeah.
um, you could like play with your Pokemon. You
Oh,
could wonder trade. So that was a big thing for me, where you just
what's
send
that?
out. Yeah, so you can connect to the internet, and then you send out one of your Pokemon up for trade, and then you just match with someone randomly, and then they trade you one, and then you trade them one, and then that is like how you trade. And sometimes you get
Whoa,
super random ones.
that's next level.
It was
I'm
pretty cool.
like for people listening who weren't around in the early 2000s slash 90s or whatever, if you didn't know somebody who had the Pokemon you wanted, sorry, you
Yep,
better get back out there and find it yourself.
exactly, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
but then we connected to the internet.
Oh no,
And
their
then it
grandpa learns
was
about the internet. That's the name of this episode. That's so
yeah.
cool.
But yeah, no. So XY, what my version that I started with was the Y version, and I clocked in. I think I checked it at 770 hours, in that one game, and then I also played maybe like 100 so hours in Y as well. So that generation
Dang,
has my most hours for sure.
you went hard on those. Okay.
I sure did.
So if when I jump back in, I should jump back in there. Is what you're saying?
I mean, that was my favorite. I loved it. So
Okay, I have a harder question for you now.
yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
I'm stalling to give you some time to think about it.
Okay.
I feel
Okay.
like you know what's coming. What is who is your favorite Pokemon? I'll let you do top three if you want to do top three.
I can give you two.
You already know. You're ready.
Here's number one.
Evie, so cute.
Uh, and my second, I don't have a. Here, let me grab one of these. You can't see it, but oh, well, so you see all these cards,
Hmm.
right? So those are magic cards. Those are all cats. This is related, I promise. And I go over here. But then what you can't see over here is my Pokemon card stuck to the wall.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, so here's number two. That is
Oh, it's
a
a little blurry. I can't see it. Is it? I don't know
oh,
who that is.
that is because it's not first gen.
Man, caught in 4K.
Yeah, right? This is Flygon.
That's awesome. I bet the audience is like, no, that's so and so.
Um, and then I guess if I had to pick a third, I'm actually you know what? I'm kinda split. I love the Gardevoir line, which is right over here, but I also
Yeah.
love the Corviknight line, which is right up there. Um, I love Corviknight. It's so cool. Here's a shiny Corviknight.
Oh, that's cool.
Shiny Corviknight.
That
It's
is sick.
basically a steel raven. What's not to like?
Yeah. I always love the, like, starburst background that the Pokemon cards have. It makes
Yeah.
them all seem, like, so special. It reminds me of the show, like, "Who's that Pokemon?"
Yeah, yeah. For sure. Uh, but yeah, no. This is usually who I say is my number 1 just because
And, like,
he's
base Eevee or, like, any of the evolutions?
base Eevee. I have my
Oh,
favorites among the evolutions, but base Eevee is my favorite. It's so cute. It's so
so
cute.
cute. Just a cute little dog.
Yeah. Dog, fox, cat hybrid thing.
I know, it's
Who
so
knows what
cool.
it is? It's an evolution Pokemon.
So, I wanted to ask, you found your way through QA, you started making your way in the
Oh, yeah.
games industry. If
Mhm.
you could go back in time to your past self and say, "Hey, past self, we're gonna be a game developer." What what advice would you give your past self? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be about getting into games. But like, what would you say?
Um, First, uh, don't be afraid to try. So I know, I mentioned, like, I got into QA, but I didn't get into QA immediately outside of college. I worked at a couple of different places for, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years or something like that before I made
Oh
it
wow,
into a
okay.
game studio, yeah. Um, well, one of those years I went to Japan, so that was really cool.
Oh,
I can't
cool.
can't complain about that, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I worked there for a year as an English teacher, um, and that was really cool. Highly recommend. Anyone listening to this show, if you can travel and work, like, do it. It will expand your horizons so much, and it helps. Um, in the game industry too, I currently work at a company that has a lot of Japanese, like, communication, and so I can at least read some Japanese.
Nice.
I can't really speak too much of it, but I can read it and I can somewhat understand. Obviously, there's translators. Anyway, I'm going off topic. Um, but so I mean, well, that's something I would say is go travel. Do the thing that you did anyway. Go travel.
Do
Um,
more of it, yeah.
yeah, preferably in a new language speaking country if you're comfortable with that. Yeah, do more. Yeah, actually, yes, do more of that. I only traveled for a year. I kind of wish I had spent longer. Um,
Mm,
like I was in Japan for a year. I was thinking about whether or not I should go to China for a year. Because we had a family friend who had an apartment, and I was like, I could just stay in your apartment for a year and like not even have to worry about rent. I
that'd be
kind of wish
cool.
I did. Yeah, kind of wish I did, but it was fine. It worked out. Um, but yeah, don't be afraid to try. I know a lot of times, like the really big companies seem intimidating, um, but they're all just companies. Everyone's still looking for new blood or like new ideas. Um, they're looking for internships, things like that. Like I didn't, I wasn't confident in myself enough to start until to start applying for game dev jobs until I came back from Japan, worked for a little bit more, and I was like, I'll start from near bottom rung in QA. Like I can do this,
Mhm.
but like have more confidence. Be more like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that I know people have said that before, and it's like a pretty common phrase, but I really took it to heart, especially a lot more recently. But it really is just like try, try, even if you fail, try.
It's so true. I mean, even, like, just identifying as a game developer, I think that's really powerful advice of, like, believing in yourself. I remember when I was in school and learning and training, I would do all these, like, the Unreal demos and the Unity training. I'd do all those things,
Mhm.
Code Academy, all that. And eventually I was like, you know what? I think I just need to put myself out there. And like,
Yeah.
you have to decide that you are a game developer.
Yeah.
And, you put yourself out there with the confidence in yourself, and then it'll happen eventually,
Mhm.
when the time
Mhm.
is right. That's
For
really
sure.
that's really cool. I'm sure your past self will really appreciate that.
Um, yeah. I mean, I wish I had done it earlier, but then if I had done it earlier, then I wouldn't be the person that I am now too either. Right? I wouldn't have gone to Japan. I wouldn't have done some other stuff. Wouldn't be wouldn't have met my husband and all that stuff.
Oh,
So that's pretty important.
cute. Well, we're almost out of time, but before we go, if people want to follow you and see what you're up to or keep up with you, where can people find you online?
Oh, this is an interesting question. I have basically no social media presence.
It's all good.
Um,
Truly, I
uh,
get it.
yeah, yeah. I have literally one social media that I use, and it's LinkedIn, which is how we were talking. So,
Sure.
um, so
We
I
also
guess,
know each
yeah.
other in Meat Space, but yes.
Yes, yes, meat space. Very true. I have seen you in person. Um, LinkedIn would probably be the only one. Like, I don't use Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I don't use Facebook anymore. I barely use Blue Sky, like barely. Um,
But
and I
kind of
don't
fell
talk
off,
about
yeah.
yeah, I don't talk about work or anything. I barely use LinkedIn as it is. I use it to talk to people on messages, but not like posts. But anyway, LinkedIn, just LinkedIn.
LinkedIn and catch Emily in the wild.
Yes, find me in person, and I'll
Yes.
talk your ear off.
I'm so happy that people could find you here on this episode today. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And thank you all so much for listening. I've been Carmen Askerneese. You can find me at or sorry, no, you can't. I changed it. You can find me at Carmen Askerneese on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also find me on Substack at The Save Point. I'd love for you all to join our colorful community. If you're watching on a video platform, be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a review. That really helps the show grow. So thank you so much. And let me know who you'd like to see on a future episode, future guests on social medias in the comments and stuff. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.